I am the man in black. They call me that because light, it's my enemy. Even the faintest glimmer can eradicate my spirit. Tonight, I will lead you into the abyss where shadows whisper the darkest secrets of the human soul. A tale woven by a woman whose glimpse into the hideous face of our deepest fears. The cruel, the twisted, the madness that drives one to murder. Now, we found a perfect victim for this tale. A soul lost in the winding alleys of Gordon Heights. Miss Gabrielle Bulda. She steps into the role of terror in Lucille Fletcher's nightmare. Sorry, wrong number. But beware. This is not for the faint of heart. Listen if you dare. But remember, once you begin, there's no turning back.
I've been trying to call Murray Hill 40098 for the last half hour and it's been busy. I don't see how it could possibly be busy that long. Can you try that number for me, please?
I'll be glad to try that number for you. One moment, please.
I don't see how it could be busy all that time. It's my husband's office and I'm all alone here in the house. My health is very poor and I've been feeling so nervous all day.
Ringing Murray Hill 40098.
Hello? Is Mr. Stevenson there?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, George.
Yes, this is George
Hello?
speaking.
I'm here with our
Who
client.
is this? What number am I calling,
Good.
please?
Is everything okay? Is the coast clear for tonight?
Yes, George. He says the coast is clear for tonight.
Okay.
Where are you now?
In a phone booth. Don't worry. Everything's okay.
Very well. You know the address.
Yes, I know. Let's see now. At 11 o'clock, the private patrolman goes around the corner to 2nd Avenue for a beer, yes?
That's right. 11 o'clock. And be sure all the lights downstairs are out.
Okay.
And there should be only one visible light from the street.
Okay. Okay.
What's that? Just a minute, George. Oh, our client tells me that at 11:15, a train crosses the bridge. It makes a noise, a window is open, and she should scream.
Hello?
Okay.
What number is this, please?
I understand. That's 11:15, the train, huh?
Yeah. Do you remember everything else, George?
Yeah. I'll make it quick as possible because our client does not wish to make her suffer.
That's right. You'll use a knife.
Yes, a knife. Then afterwards, I'll remove the rings and the bracelets and the jewelry in the bureau drawer because our client wishes it to look like a simple robbery. Don't worry. Everything's okay. I know.
Oh, how awful. How unspeakably awful. Operator!
Your number, please.
Operator, I've just been cut off.
What number will you be calling?
Well, operator, I was supposed to be calling Murray Hill 40098, but it wasn't. Some wires must have got crossed. I was cut into a wrong number, and I've just heard the most dreadful thing. Something about a murder, and oh, operator, you simply have to retrace that call at once.
I beg your pardon. May I help you?
I know it was a wrong number, and I had no business listening, but these two men, they were very cold-blooded fiends, and they're going to murder somebody, some poor, innocent woman who was all alone in a house near a bridge, and we've got to stop them. We've just got to.
What number are you dialing?
It doesn't matter what number I was calling. This was a wrong number, and you dialed it for me, and we've got to find out what it was immediately.
What number did you call?
Why are you so stupid? What time is it? Do you mean to tell me that you can't find out what that number was just now?
I'll connect you to the chief operator.
Oh, I think it's perfectly shameful. Now look, it was obviously a case of some little slip of the finger. I told you to try Murray Hill 40098 for me. You dialed it, but your finger must have slipped, and I was connected with some other number, and I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me. Now, I simply failed to see why you couldn't make that same mistake again, on purpose. Why couldn't you try to dial Murray Hill 40098 in the same careless way?
Murray Hill 40098. I will try to get it for you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Murray Hill 40098 is busy.
Operator!
Your call, please.
You didn't try to get that wrong number at all. I asked you explicitly, and all you did was dial correctly.
I am sorry. What number are you calling?
Can't you for once forget what number I'm calling and do something for me? Now, I want to trace that call. It's my civic duty, and it's your civic duty to trace that call and apprehend those dangerous killers. And if you won't...
I will connect you with the chief operator.
Well, please! All this talk, I can't make anyone understand.
This is the chief operator.
Chief operator, I want you to trace a call. A telephone call immediately. I don't know where it came from or who was making it, but it's absolutely necessary that it be tracked down because it was about a murder that someone's planning. A terrible, cold-blooded murder of a poor innocent woman. Tonight at 11:15.
I see.
Can you trace it for me? Can you track down those men?
Well, I'm not certain. It depends.
It depends on what?
It depends on whether the call is still going on. If it's a live call, we can trace it on the equipment. If it's been disconnected, we can't.
Disconnected?
If the parties have stopped talking to each other.
Oh, but of course they must have stopped talking to each other by now. That was at least 5 minutes ago, and they didn't sound like the type that they would make a long call.
Well, I could try tracing it. May I have your name, please?
Mrs. Stevenson. Mrs. Albert Stevenson. But listen.
And your telephone number, please?
Plaza 32098. But if you go on wasting all this time...
Why do you want this call to be traced?
Why? No reason. I mean, I merely felt very strongly that something ought to be done about it. These men sounded like killers, and they're dangerous. They're going to murder this woman at 11:15 tonight. I thought the police ought to know.
Have you reported this to the police?
Well, no, not yet.
You want this call checked purely as a private individual?
Yes, but meanwhile...
I'm sorry, Mrs. Stevenson, but I'm afraid we couldn't make this check for you and trace the call just on your say-so.
But...
As a private individual.
Why?
We have to have something more official.
Oh, for heaven's sake. You mean to tell me I can't report these? There's going to be a murder without getting tied up in all this red tape? Why? It's perfectly idiotic. Well, all right. I'll call the police.
I'm sure that will be the best way to deal with it.
Ridiculous. Never heard of such nonsense.
Your call, please.
Police department. Get me the police department, please.
Ring the police department.
Oh, can't you ring them direct?
Police Station 43, Sergeant Martin speaking.
Police department? This is Mrs. Stevenson, Mrs. Albert Smythe Stevenson of 5353 North Sutton Place. I'm calling to report a murder.
Eh?
I mean, the murder hasn't been committed yet. I just overheard plans for it over the telephone, over a wrong number that the operator gave me. I've been trying to trace down to call myself, but everybody's so stupid, and I guess, in the end, you're the only people who could do anything.
Yes, ma'am.
It was a perfectly definite murder. I heard their plans distinctly. 2 men were talking, and they were going to murder some woman at 11:15 tonight. She lived in a house near a bridge, and are you listening to me?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And there was a private patrolman on the street. He was going to go around for a beer on 2nd Avenue, and there was some third man, a client, who was paying to have this poor woman murdered. They were going to take her rings and bracelets and use a knife. Well, it's unnerved me dreadfully, and I'm not well.
Yes. When did all this happen, ma'am?
About 8 minutes ago. Oh, then you can do something. You do understand.
What's your name, ma'am?
Mrs. Stevenson. Mrs. Albert Stevenson.
And your address?
5353 North Sutton Place. That's near a bridge, the Queensboro Bridge, you know, and we have a private patrolman in our street.
Yeah?
And 2nd Avenue is...
And, what was the number you were calling?
Murray Hill 40098, but that wasn't the number I overheard. I mean, Murray Hill 40098 is my husband's office.
Mm-hmm.
And he's working late tonight, and I was just trying to reach him to ask him to come home.
Yes?
I'm an invalid, and it's the maid's night off, and I hate to be alone, even though he says that.
Yeah, well,
As long as I have the telephone here right beside my bed.
we'll take a look at it, Mrs. Stevenson, and see if we can check with the telephone company.
The telephone company said they couldn't check the call. The parties have stopped talking, and I've already taken care of that.
Oh, you have?
Yes, and personally, I feel you ought to do something more immediate and drastic than just check the call. What good does checking the call do if they've stopped talking? By the time you track it down, they'll have already committed the murder.
Yeah, well, we'll take care of it. Don't you worry.
I say the whole thing calls for a search, a complete and thorough search of the whole city. I'm very near the bridge, and I'm not very far.
You said...
From 2nd Avenue, and I know it'd feel a whole lot better if you sent around a radio car to this neighborhood at once.
Well, what makes you think that the murder is going to be committed in your neighborhood, ma'am?
Well, I don't know. Only the coincidence is so horrible. 2nd Avenue, the patrolman, and the bridge.
Yeah, well, 2nd Avenue, is a very long street, ma'am, and you know how many villages there are in the city in New York alone. Not to mention Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Queens, and the Bronx.
I know all that.
How do you know it? Isn't it someone little's house on Staten Island or some little 2nd Avenue you never heard about? How do you know they're even talking about New York at all?
But I heard the call in the New York dialing system.
Well, maybe it was a long-distance call you've overheard. Telephones are very funny things. Now, look, why don't you take a look at it this way? Supposing you had broken in to the telephone call, supposing you got your husband the way you always do, you wouldn't be so upset, wouldn't you?
Well, I suppose not, but it sounded so inhuman, so cold-blooded.
Well, a lot of murders are plotted in this city every day, ma'am. We managed to prevent almost all of them, but clue in this kind is so very vague. Isn't much more to use than no clue at all.
But surely you can.
Unless, of course, you have some reason for thinking this call was phony and somebody was planning to murder you.
Me? No, I hardly think so. I mean, why should anybody? I'm alone all day and night. I see nobody except my maid, Eloise, and she's a big 200-pounder.
Yeah.
And she's too lazy to bring up my breakfast tray.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other person is my husband, Albert. He's crazy about me. He adores me. He waits on my hand and food, and has scarcely left my side since I took sick 12 years ago.
Yeah, well, then there's nothing for you to worry about. You just leave the rest to us. We'll take care of it.
Well, what will you do? It's so late. It's nearly 11 now.
We'll take care of it, lady.
Well, will ya? Broadcast it all over the city and send out squads and warn your radio cars to watch out, especially in suspicious neighborhoods like mine.
Lady, I said we'd take care of it now, huh? I've got a couple of other matters on my desk and that require immediate attention. So, good night, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, you idiot! Oh, why did I hang up the phone like that? Now he'll think I'm a fool. And, why doesn't Albert come home? Why doesn't he? I'll get the operator again.
Your call, please.
Operator, for heaven's sake, will you ring that Murray Hill 40098 number again? I can't think what's keeping him so long.
I will try it for you. I'm sorry, Murray Hill 40098 is busy. I will try.
I can hear it. You don't have to tell me. I know it's busy. Oh, if I could only get out of this bed for a little while, and if I could get a breath of fresh air, or just lean out of the window and see the street. Hello? Albert? Hello? 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 Oh, what's the matter with this phone? Hello? 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 Oh, for heaven's sake, who is this? Hello? 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 Who is trying to call me? What are they trying to do to me?
Your call, please.
Hello, operator. I matter with this telephone tonight, but it's positively driving me crazy. I've never seen such inefficient, miserable service. Now look, I'm an invalid, and I'm very nervous, and I'm not supposed to be annoyed, but if this keeps on much longer and...
What seems to be the trouble?
Well, everything's wrong. I haven't had one bit of satisfaction out of one call I've made this evening. The whole world could be murdered for all you people, Karen. And now my phone keeps ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing, and every 5 seconds or so, and when I pick it up, there's no one there, and...
I am sorry. If you will hang up, I will test it for you.
I don't want you to test it for me. I want you to put that call through, whatever it is, at once.
I'm afraid I cannot do that.
You can't? And why? Why, may I ask?
The dial system is automatic. If someone is trying to dial your number, there's no way to check whether the call is coming through the system or not. Unless the person who is trying to reach you complains to his particular operator.
Well, of all the stupid... meanwhile, I've got to sit here in my bed, suffering every time that phone rings, imagining everything.
I will try to check the trouble.
Check it! Check it!
For you, madame.
Oh, what's the use of talking to you? You're so stupid. I'll fix her. How dare she speak to me like that? How dare she speak to me like that?
Your call, please.
Young woman, I don't know your name, but there are ways of finding you out, and I'm going to report you to your superiors for the most unpardonable rudeness and insolence that's ever been my privilege. Oh, give me the business office at once.
You may dial the number direct.
Dial it direct? I'll do no such thing. I don't even know the number.
The number is in the directory, or you may secure it by dialing...
Listen here. What's the use? Oh, for heaven's sake, I'm going out of my mind. Hello? Hello? Stop ringing me. Do you hear? Answer me. Who is this? Do you realize you're driving me crazy? Who's calling me? What are you doing it for? Now stop it. Stop it, I say. And if you don't stop ringing me, I'm going to call the police. Do you hear? Hello? Hello? If Albert would only come home. Oh, let it ring. Let it go on ringing. I won't answer it. I won't answer it this time. If it goes on ringing all night, I won't answer it. I won't answer it. It stopped. Why did it stop ringing all of a sudden? What time is it? Where's my clock? Where is it? 5 to 11. They've decided something. They're sure I'm home. They've heard my voice answering. That's why they've been ringing. No, where is she? Why doesn't she answer?
Your call, please.
Where were you just now? Why didn't you answer? Give me the police department.
I'm sorry, the line is busy. I will call you when...
Busy? That's impossible. The police department can't be busy. There must be other lines available.
The line is busy.
No. I've got to speak to them now. It may be too late. I've got to talk to someone.
What number do you wish to speak to?
I don't know, but there must be someone to protect people besides the police department. A detective agency.
You will find agencies in the classified directory.
I don't have a classified. I'm too nervous to look it up. I don't know how to use the book.
I will connect you with the information. Perhaps she will be able to help.
No! Oh, you're being spiteful, aren't you? You don't care what happens to me. I can die and you won't care. Oh, stop it! I can't stand it anymore. Hello? What do you want? Stop ringing. Will you stop?
Hello? Is this Plaza 32099?
Yes. This is Plaza 32099.
This is Western Union. I have a telegram here for Mrs. Albert Stevenson. Is there anyone there to receive the message?
I'm Mrs. Stevenson.
The telegram is as follows. Mrs. Albert Stevenson, 53 North Southern Place, New York, New York. Darling, terribly sorry. Tried to get you for the last hour, but line busy. Leaving for Boston 11 p.m. tonight on urgent business. Back tomorrow afternoon. Keep happy. Love, signed, Albert.
Oh, no.
Do you wish us to deliver a copy of the message?
No, thank you.
Thank you, madam. Good night.
Good night. No, I don't believe it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Nobody knows I'll be all alone. It's some trick. It's some trick. I know it.
Your number, please.
Operator, try that number Murray Hill 40098 for me just once more, please.
You may dial that number.
Oh! 4 0 0 9 8. Oh no, you're gone. No, Albert. How could you? How could you? Oh, but I can stay alone tonight. I can't. If I'm alone one more second, I'll go mad. I don't care what he says or what the expenses. I'm a sick woman. I'm entitled to some consideration.
This is information. May I help you?
I want a telephone number of Hensley Hospital.
Hensley Hospital. Do you have the street address?
No, it's somewhere in the 70s. It's a very small, private and exclusive hospital where I had my appendix out 2 years ago. It's Hensley, Henchley.
1 moment, please.
Please hurry, and please, what is the time?
You may find out the time by dialing
For heaven's sake, I've no time for anything.
The number of Hensley Hospital is Buttonfield 89970.
Is that Hensley Hospital?
Hensley Hospital?
Nurses Registry.
Who is it that you want to speak to?
I want the nurses registry at once. I want a trained nurse. I want to hire her immediately for the night.
I see. What is the nature of the case, madam?
Nerves. I'm very nervous. I need soothing and companionship. You see, my husband is away, and
Have you been recommended to us by any doctor in particular, madam?
No, but I really don't see why all this is necessary. I want a trained nurse, and I was a patient in your hospital 2 years ago. And after all, I don't expect to pay this person for attending me.
We quite understand that, madam. But these are war times, you know. Registered nurses are very scarce just now, and our superintendent has asked us to send people out only on cases where the physician in charge feels it is absolutely necessary.
Well, it is absolutely necessary. I'm a sick woman, and I'm very upset. I'm alone in this house, and I'm an invalid. And tonight, I overheard a telephone conversation that upset me dreadfully. A woman is going to be killed when a train crosses a bridge, and in fact, if someone doesn't come at once, I'm afraid I'll go out of my mind.
Well, I'll speak to Miss Phillips as soon as she comes in. And what is her name, madam?
Miss Phillips, when do you expect her to come in?
I really couldn't say. She went out to supper at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock? But it's not 11 yet. Oh, my clock has stopped. I thought it was running down. What time is it?
Just 15 minutes past 11.
What was that?
What was what, madam?
That clicked just now in my own telephone, as though someone had lifted the receiver off the hook, off the extension telephone downstairs.
I didn't hear it, madam. Now, about...
But I did! There's someone in this house. Someone downstairs, in the kitchen, and they're listening to me now. I won't pick it up. I won't let them hear me. I'll be quiet, and they'll think it. But if I don't call someone now, they're still down there. There'll be no time. I've got to get that operator.
Your call, please.
Operator, I'm in desperate trouble.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Please speak louder.
I don't dare speak louder. There's someone listening. Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry.
But you've got to hear me, please. Please, you've got to help me. There's someone in this house. Someone is going to murder me, and you've got to get in touch with the police. There it is. Did you hear it? Just put it down. Just put down the extension phone. Just coming up the stairs. Give me the police department.
1 moment, please.
Okay, hurry. I can hear him. Oh no, please. Oh God. Hurry. Oh no. Hurry, I can hear him. Oh no, please. Oh God. Oh God. He's coming to get me. No.
Department, Precinct 53, Sergeant Martin speaking.
Police department? Oh, I'm sorry. Must have got the wrong number. Well, don't worry. Everything's okay. At the center of this tale lies a woman plagued by a paranoia so intense that it drove her to the brink of madness. In the end, she waded deep into the mire of her own nightmares, her every step dragging her further into a fate too dreadful to escape. This is the man in black, wishing you a good night. But be vigilant, never fully close your eyes. You can't be sure if that ominous shape lurking in the corner is merely a shadow or something far more sinister. It could have a name, and it might be already waiting to claim you. Your story could be the next one. I